Hi, I'm Christina.
I'm Maya from Dreams, and welcome to a new video.
So we are doing another tag again, and that is the spring cleaning book tag. I will try to read the German for you because this was posted
originally by a German booktuber called
Juli Bücher.
We will leave the link to everything below.
And I'm gonna try this. So Frühlingsanfang mit Büchern. Okay.
Which her husband says means what? Spring with books?
Start of spring with books.
Okay.
Something like that.
Anyway,
okay.
So yeah, the original video is in German, and I used Google Translate, which is wrong. You shouldn't do that, but I did, so we know what the questions were.
Yeah.
And we're going to leave the questions in our horrible translation down below in the description box, so if you want to participate, definitely check them out.
Okay, so let's start.
All right.
Pull yourself up. A book or series that intimidates you.
I have several here. So first one is this one, Dune. So after watching the new movie, I was intrigued, and my father and everyone in my house was like, you have to read this, even though I know I'm not going to like it. I know I'm not going to like it. But also it's kind of huge. But I did find an audiobook which has
isn't this like Isn't the first book really small? I think this is like this the combination of
No. So the first the movie now that we saw in the most recent one only is half of this book.
Really?
Yes. The second half is stuff that happens later.
I for some reason have the feeling that like the first book is supposed to be really small.
No,
the other ones.
The other ones are small. This one's big. Also, I found the audiobook that has a cast recording, which is hopefully will help me with this. But this is one intimidating book. Then I don't know why I do this to myself. So, Brandon Sanderson's Way of Kings. Now I have Rhythm of War, which is book 4, but I actually want to reread the first 3 because it's been a while. And these are humongous. This is part 1. This is the UK edition. So this is part 1 of the first book. So every book is like over 1,000 pages. So yeah. And the last one is The Wheel of Time, which I watched this TV show, which wasn't good, but also kind of got me interested in reading the books again, because I started reading this series when I was in high school, and I got to book 5 and then I stopped. And there are like 14 of them. So I actually want to finish the series.
Like it has 2,000 pages. Like it really does look.
It has 700 and something.
Really?
No, wait. This is the last part. Is like wait. What do you call that thing that gives you like all the?
It's literally bigger than this.
What can I tell you? I don't know. Okay, 771 is this one. This is the Eye of the World.
It's humongous.
But I got this because I enjoyed I really like the imagery that they have for the
really
TV show. And also the audiobook is read by Rosamund Pike, who plays Moraine. Hopefully that will help me, and maybe actually I get to finish the series.
Okay.
What about you?
So I have 2. So I have The Testaments by Margaret Atwood, and this is intimidating because Handmaid's Tale is one of the most shocking, hurtful, and interesting, difficult reads, but interesting and favorite reads of mine. And I'm really like scared to read the sequel, because I don't feel like it needed a sequel.
Okay.
Because like it ended for me it ended perfectly. I liked not knowing. I liked that last scene, and just like I don't know. I'm scared to see what this will bring. So this is one, and the other one is Roar by Cora.
You didn't read this?
Harmon. So I read this first book, but there's a second and a third book, and I remember I really, really liked this one. Like this was one of the Fairy Loot books, maybe even the one that I liked the most. And it's so good in my head that I'm afraid like to reread it and like be like, you were just, I don't know, in a weird mood that day when you were
that's
reading
what
it.
I'm afraid of. I also have one of those like that.
Yeah, and I'm still keeping it like on my TBR. I even have the second and the third book on my TBR, but I'm like so scared to try them. Like, I just don't want to be disappointed.
Yeah, and then it will ruin the first book for you. That's what happened with me a couple of times. It's like, you're like, oh my god, and then the sequels just kind of ruin the whole series for you, and that sucks.
So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Sort out the closet, a book or series you want to get rid of.
Alright, for me is a bunch of fairy lit books that I have. So, let's just go. 4 Dead Queens by Astrid Schulte. Then we have Forest of 1,000 Lanterns by Julie C. Dow. Then we have Wicked Like Wildfire by Ilana Popovic. Then we have Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Was it Garber? Yes, Garber. And then I have Furyborn, Lord, it's like this one, by Claire Legrand. So previous years we were really, really good with our, we got a lot of fairy tale books.
Yeah.
Boxes. And then we didn't read any of them because after a while you figure out, well, YA fantasy is not really for me anymore. And now I have I have 5 books here. Now I should do like a reading vlog or something, or maybe use them in different of the readathons that we do to sort of read these and stuff. But I am not drawn to them anymore.
Why would you? If you don't like why? I mean, we're not saying the books are bad, but if you don't,
it's not something I read anymore.
Yeah. So why waste your time? You could be reading books you enjoy. Why force yourself to read something that from the start is like not for you? Yeah. It's gonna have a bad taste just because you are like
forcing yourself to read it. Yeah.
Just because you're like, I know I won't like this, and you're like, it just doesn't make sense. Like it's a disservice to the book and the author in the end, because there's for sure people who will like all of these books. Yeah.
So these are most likely going to my library soon. Yeah.
Okay.
What about
you? I have I'm actually going to get rid of this. Is Circe by Madeline Miller. Mm-hmm. I absolutely adored Song of Achilles.
Yes. So good.
However, Circe was kind of a mixed bag for me. Mm-hmm. And it's just because I expected more. Like everybody was saying, this is like a romance story because
I know everybody was talking about Odysseus, and Odysseus appears like in the last 100
he's
pages.
like here, here, literally. And this was more a story about Circe, which was in itself very interesting. Mm-hmm. But I just, since I live in an apartment and I really don't have like a big bookcase, I just decided that I would kind of go on the minimalistic side and just keep the books that I really want to reread or that are like very dear gifts or stuff I actually want to have on my bookshelves, and give this just to somebody who would appreciate it more than I do at this point. Yeah. So that's why I'm getting rid of this. And also maybe of the Nevernight trilogy, although I love it, but I don't know.
You're not gonna reread it, no?
Like I think it was just like at that point in time, it was the perfect read for me. Mm-hmm. But I don't have like any.
I still haven't read the last one.
Really?
No.
Anyways, yeah, that's it. All right. Opening Windows for Fresh Air, a book that you found refreshing.
Alright, so I have 2 series for this. So the first one is the Mystic Bayou series by Molly Harper, at least the first 3 books of that. And the second one is the Restorer series by Ruby Dixon. Now, both of these are paranormal romances, and in the way that they are refreshing was that usually when you read romance books, paranormal ones especially, there are certain things that are like, not staples, but that are expected in this one, which basically makes you eye roll a lot.
Okay.
Which is like, the male characters being all possessive and alpha-ish and sometimes toxic and stuff. And there are some things that these books and these series did not have that. They had characters that were on the same level, that were communicating, that were equals in their relationship and in the plot in general. And also they were very supportive. There wasn't like... there was, specifically in the Mystic Bayou series, there was a lot of humor. And the Ruby Dixon series has more trauma because every character has their own like baggage that they bring with themselves. But the Mystic Bayou had such humor, which just made it an easy read, a fun read, and everything. And so I picked those 2 series for that question. Great. What about you?
Okay, so I chose Daughter of the Burning City by Amanda Foody. This was another fabulous book, actually. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I chose the Pure trilogy by Juliana Baggett. Mm-hmm. So I've never heard anybody speak about like at least Pure. Mm-hmm. However, what was refreshing here is the first one is basically a story about a girl who works in a circus, and there's a circus troupe, and like you get to like she has the ability to kind of make creations, mm-hmm. and her creations start dying. Actually, somebody is murdering them, and like you kind of discover what is happening here. And in the Pure trilogy, you have this post-apocalyptic dystopian world, mm-hmm. Where you have our main character, and like it's it's like all the other Hunger Games, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. and stuff like that. Like it's in that genre basically. But what I found refreshing about both of these books is that they didn't shy away from their characters having disabilities, from being, especially in the Pure trilogy, from being kind of physically hurt from like this big explosion or like stuff, because
and it didn't magically heal the next page.
Yes, no. In Pure, you basically, I don't know, you have humans that are fused to animals, you have humans who are fused to machines, and all as a consequence of this big catastrophe that happened. And nobody shies away from it. It's something you have to live with and deal with. And I just like the fact that it wasn't nobody was perfect after like this big thing happened, and I found that really refreshing.
All right.
A freshly made bed, a scene in a book that you want to rewrite.
I have nothing for this.
Well, technically, I don't either, but we kind of agreed that the miscommunication trope is something we would always rewrite, but we do understand that in some books, without that trope, there is no book to begin with. So, we just don't like the trope, and we would just like rewrite those.
Like, wait, stop, let's talk about this.
Yes.
And then no book.
Yeah.
Right.
So, unnecessary crime stuff. A book in a series that you found unnecessary.
What was this? So this is The Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas, which is, Jesus Christ, how many pages?
Not a lot.
It doesn't even have pages. It doesn't have pages.
Really?
No. See? Basically, no pages.
That's great.
No way, this is something else. Anyway, 200 pages of, I even forgot the girl's name. Freya? It's not Freya.
It's something.
Farah. It's Farah's, like, Christmas holiday. And whatever, she learns, she's painting again. That's the point of this book. I mean,
okay.
No.
I might have a controversial answer about this. I don't know, but I would say maybe the Dreamer trilogy doesn't need to happen. I don't know. This is like a continuation of the Raven Boys, about Ronan and his dreaming abilities, how he can, take stuff out of dreams and stuff like that. And he is by far my favorite character from the first series. However, I was just quite underwhelmed by this first book. I have the second book in the series, and I have not read it because I have no, pull to read it, because this wasn't just interesting enough to pull me in and want me, I want to read the next one. Whereas the Raven Boys was just I really enjoy every book I read there. And I don't know, I feel bad, but maybe that.
All right.
Polished Doorknobs, a book that had a clean ending.
All right, so for this, I picked The Grace of King by Ken Liu. Now, this is book 1 in the Dandelion Dynasty book series, but the first one deals with this friendship between a bandit and a highborn dude who's very angry at the emperor because they killed his father. And their friendship is basically the driving force behind the story, and how they get together. Then there's a war and stuff, and they fight, and they're being manipulated by people around them and by the gods themselves. And it's just the whole of their friendship just starts and ends in this one. And you can stop with this one because the second one deals with the same. It deals with the same people, but many years after that.
Oh, okay.
So the whole of the story is ended in this one, and this one is so good. See, I have so many tags because this one is so good. I read it for Asian Readathon last year, and it is so good, and I definitely would recommend for people to read.
Okay. I stole Maya's pick basically because I didn't know what to pick, but she helped me. So we have The Martian by Andy Weir. So basically this is the story of Mark Watney.
Yes.
Still remember the name. That's how good it was when I read it the first time. And he is basically stuck on Mars. That's why he's a Martian, and he tries to survive there and communicate with the Earth to try to get somebody to save him from Mars. But it's funny, it's endearing, it's
it's a
survival,
standalone, which helps.
Survival it's a standalone. It's just such a well-rounded book. Everything is just so good.
Yeah.
So basically, Blow Through the Ventilation, a book that tried too hard to convey a message.
You talk about this because I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Did you finish this?
Yes, I did.
I didn't. I quit a third way in.
Like I don't know, maybe 2 years ago.
Yes.
There was a readathon. I can't even remember which one. We had to read one.
Basically, it was a whole promo thing, and they created a readathon around this book, so that people would get this book and read this book. Yes. It was just, let's read. This is a readathon for this book. It comes out this month. We're all going to read it, and we're going to love it. And it's called
Once and Future by A.R. Capetta and Corey McCarthy.
Which I did not like at all. This is it was YA, right?
It was
YA fantasy.
It's like King Arthur
retelling, right? Yes. Is that Merlin comes back as a young man?
He kind of ages backwards.
Right. And then he's like in this world with, the characters from the Arthurian legends. And oh my lord, it was so, the inclusivity and paying attention to people's pronouns and asking was so, in your face. It was so in your face. It wasn't subtle at all. Yeah. And for me, that was so, it's jarring, and it just annoyed me to no end, because basically he would come up to a person, my name is Merlin, my pronouns are this and this. What shall I? It's like, people don't talk like that in the real world, and maybe that's my problem. And it was just, it just anyway. The message of inclusivity was like in your face, like look at me, I'm so great.
Yeah, I kind of felt that the characters, it was emphasized so much that I felt the characters were only like their pronouns, only their they didn't feel like well-rounded characters.
Yeah, they were there because you needed like different kind of people and like pronouns.
Yeah, it more felt like, okay, so I want to make this book diverse, so I'm gonna put as many diverse characters as I can. And we have read so many good books where you just have a story and it's also like kind of in your face, like that they have different pronouns, they're somewhere on the LGBTQ like spectrum. But it was just like a part of them, and you appreciated them for it. And this was just like,
it wasn't their whole personality.
This is the only thing that is important about these characters, and like they didn't feel like real people almost to me, because that was the only thing that was important in the book. So I mean, I felt bad because like the whole premise and everything sounds really good, but that was just like it seemed like it really tried too much. Exhausted Contentment, a series that was exhausting but ultimately compelling.
This one. Like, I was okay with the first volume. Yeah. And then from then on, it was like volume of them just getting into stupid shit. And there was a whole drug thing at one point, and they're fighting and coming back together, people dying, and just I couldn't not, like the last one ended on a cliffhanger. I could not care less. By the end of it, I was like, dude, I do not care anymore. And I know ultimately compelling. There are some interesting themes that are going out throughout the series, and the characters, there were some interesting characters and whatnot, but like it was very, very exhausting, and I was like, I no, not anymore.
It's interesting that we both picked a comic for this.
Oh, okay. What was your comic?
I hit Fairyland by Scotty Young. So this is basically a story about a girl that is in a 6-year-old body, but in actuality is 27, and she is basically mad at the world because she's stuck in this fairyland, and there's like like a fairy queen, and there's like, I don't know, dwarves and everything. Like there's a lot of magical beings, and she's just very cynical and mad, and just.
Your dog is also mad.
My dog is also mad. We don't know why. And basically, like, she's just like this crazy character, and the first 2 volumes, like, it was interesting, but I didn't really like her as a character that much. But there's like just 4 volumes. But as the series, as I finished it, I found it to be one of my favorite series I've read, because like it has like, it's finished at the, I could even put this like a cleaned ending also, because like it's finished perfectly. It was just like a whole story, and just like I really in the end really liked it, and like even through the first 2 volumes, I was still compelled to read further because it just had enough of like, what is she gonna do next? Like she literally like kills stuff, you know, like she has an accent, like so it's a brutal book. It's not like for like kids, for example, but yeah.
I mean, you know, with Saga, I mean, I was like, I was interested enough to read, but at one point I just reached my like, I can't do it anymore. I mean, you know, it was compelling to this point, and then not so much anymore.
Okay.
All right, that is it. So let's tag people. We will tag anyone who watches this movie video. Yes, who watches this. If you feel the need, please do this tag and then tag us so we know to watch your video.
Yes.
Share.
Okay, please like, share, subscribe, press the bell button if you want to get notifications whenever we post new videos.
Check out the links in the description box, and thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.